Good morning. Welcome back to the One Celtic Fans View with myself, Baz. I hope you're having a fantastic Monday morning. Back to work, but it is also the week that Celtic players will start returning, and there's one guy in particular who hasn't been too happy with some online abuse that he has been getting. Yep, Adam Idah said that the shush last night was to basically silence his online critics. The Celtic star came off the bench against Bulgaria and for a 2-1 win. It was a win in the Nations League. It's a competition that I've not got much interested in, but it was a fantastic goal by Adam Idah. I haven't watched it back this morning. Idah had read about the abuse online after he didn't feature in the first leg. He's had it from Celtic fans also, saying that he's not worth the money that we paid for him and blah, 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 blah. But he decided to do the shushing to the fans online that's been giving him dog's abuse. Obviously, he was frustrated, he went on to say, with the first game. But he came on today and he did what he's been doing all season. So it was to the people who were doubting me, said Adam Idah. There is big Celtic transfer news we're going to talk about in a second, but Adam Idah said that he had read about online. He says, look, just about me not doing well recently, and I've not been playing, and why I should be on the bench. The celebration, he insisted, was no way directed towards the Ireland manager. No, we had a laugh and a joke about it afterwards. We all saw the stuff online. I respect the manager, he said. He made the decision last week, and I probably had that so many times in football where I don't play and I get frustrated. But Adam Idah does what Adam Idah does. He comes off the bench and scores an absolutely fantastic goal for his national team, just to shut up the critics. A bit like what he's been doing at Celtic all season. Anyway, we move on to a little bit of transfer speculation that was kicking around yesterday. Now, Celtic have been linked with a player at Liverpool, and you're going to say, well, there's no surprise at that, but he's 32-year-old, and does he really fit the bill? It's a player that's not been playing much for Liverpool the last season, this season. Endo said recently that the manager told me that he's done really well, and he's amazing, he's been helpful for the team, but he hasn't had a chance. He also gives 100%. The manager, I'm very grateful for the manager. They always go out and say that when it's coming into the last parts of the season. Brendan Rodgers is said to be interested in signing Endo, but it's also saying that AC Milan, Wilson, Fulham and Ipswich are after the player. I don't know if he fits the bill. Does he fit the bill for what we're looking for? People that watch Liverpool games, could you tell me in the comments? He's not really played since Jurgen Klopp left Anfield last summer, but he maybe is what we need. We've been crying out for a midfielder with a bit of oomph, but I don't think he shouts out to me that he is that player that we're looking for in the midfield. But then you never know. Brendan Rodgers knows players better than what I will, so we'll just need to wait and see how that one pans out. Jude Bonnar, and if I'd known this game was on just down the road, I've got to be honest, I went down to it. Scotland played Ireland in the under-21s on Friday. Around about 45 minutes drive down the coast from where I am. Jude Bonnar got a goal. It's been a good couple of months for him. And the manager, Brendan Rodgers, has told him to keep doing things right, work hard, and he'll get his chances in the team. Well, he's been asked about who he looks up to, and he says, I just watched Captain Calmack. He says, I see what he does every day. All the players are top athletes. Being around them every day in training makes me want to play like them. And it's a dream come true to get onto the pitch at Celtic. It was brilliant. I know what I have to keep doing, and I know that I'm going to work hard to see where it takes me in my football journey at Celtic. Will Jude Bonnar get a chance between now and the end of the season? Well, there's another midfielder at Celtic who isn't too enamoured with his national team boss, and I wonder who that could be. As a player who is, let's face it, he can spit the dummy out on the pitch when he's playing for Celtic, never mind his national team. And yes, it is Reo Hatate. Reo Hatate and Idah were unused subs as they travelled 9,000 miles to link up with Japan and play for the Japan team. I do believe that they play again this week. I think it's Tuesday, I'm not sure. But anyway, he's went on to say that, look, I'm full of confidence. And that confidence will carry me through. The confidence of playing in the Champions League and scoring in the Champions League. He says, look, I want to be first team. I want to be in the first team. We've qualified for the finals in the USA, in Canada and Mexico. After that win, I want to make sure that I'm in the team. Is that an ominous shot over Celtic's bows? Because we all know that Idah has spoken about on many occasions when he's been away with his national team about playing at a higher level to make sure that he is involved on the international stage. Whilst him and Hatate were unused subs, and the midfielder is convinced that playing on the highest stage with his club can help him get that place in the World Cup. When you play in the Champions League, he says, you're playing at the top level. And we're playing that with Celtic. I says it gives you an enormous confidence as a player when you play in the Champions League. If I manage to get into the World Cup team, I will certainly use the confidence I took from playing in the Champions League. Is this him telling the national boss that he doesn't need to leave Celtic because he's playing in the Champions League, and he fears that if he does a Kyogo and disappears to a club like Rennes, he's not going to be playing at the highest level, is he? I mean, it's okay that the international boss saying you need to be playing at the highest level possible. Well, let's face it, the Champions League is the highest level possible, and the Scottish League may not be one of the top 5 leagues in Europe, but as Kyogo has found out, when you leave Celtic and you go to another club in one of these top 5 leagues, there's a massive risk that you're taking, because unless you're going to a team that is already in the Champions League and looks like they're going to be in the Champions League next season, what's the point in actually leaving Celtic? So could it be that the fact that Reo Hatate is at odds with his manager? Or is it the fact that Reo Hatate's went, yep, I've been playing in the Champions League, I want to use that experience and I'm going to go and play in another league to show that I could play at the highest level? Maybe that's what he's getting at his manager. And we'll have to wait till this summer. There is obviously a lot of transfer speculation going around this guy from Liverpool. Is he a direct replacement for Reo Hatate this summer? We are getting into the realms of silly season when it comes to transfer speculation. It's always just before the end of the season that it kind of starts to ramp up a bit. Because let's face it, there's many players that will be leaving Celtic this summer. I mean, Greg Taylor's now walking out his contract, which I still think is unbelievable. That a player that was once valued at 8 million by Celtic is now getting to walk away for absolutely free. I still say that he should have been sold the same as David Turnbull towards the end of. But we know the situation with the left back has been an issue, and I don't see. It's a crazy situation that Celtic have allowed themselves to get into with Greg Taylor. And that is due to the fact that the backroom staff and Paul Tisdale haven't got their act together and got in a suitable left back. Now you're going to say we've brought in Jeffrey Schlupp. Is Jeffrey Schlupp the long-term answer at 32-year-old? He's a big guy, but that big and bulky guy kind of went missing in the last game also, didn't he? Didn't live up to expectations, what we thought we might get from the player. But maybe it was just because it was his first game and it went past him a bit. But we've got one more of those games to take care of this season. So it'll be interesting this summer to see what kind of what players Celtic do bring in. I expect there's going to be at least 4 or 5 first team players, in the first team squad players, at least 5 will leave Celtic this summer. I mean, you've got your Gustav Lagerbielke for one. He's playing fantastic at FC20. He's looking to leave Celtic. I don't think he's going to come back and warm the bench after having such a fantastic season. Stephen Welsh is another. Stephen Welsh is playing fantastic for his club at the moment. He will look to move on because he's warmed the bench long enough at Celtic. He's came through the ranks. He's done his time. He knows that he's not going to be a first team starter, and he will understand himself. It's football. You know, as much as I love Celtic, he will know that he will want to play football a lot more regular than what he does at Celtic. So I think we could lose Stephen Welsh also. So that's 2 defenders that we're going to be losing. Will we also lose Lewis Palmer? Yes, we'll lose Lewis Palmer because he's got an obligation or an option to buy Lewis Palmer. Lewis Palmer, who scored again at international level in the last few days. He just seems to, when he takes off his strip for the national team, he's just so proud, and he turns into a different player than what he was at Celtic. And then there's several other players that are out on loan that I think, Cornet, etc., I don't think that they will be back at Celtic. Because let's face it, I don't think that they can improve the team any going forward. Anyway, it's a big week for Celtic. We get back into training, and Brendan Rodgers will get the players back on the pitch. They will dissect who is injured, who is not. There's rumours coming out of America that Cameron Carter-Vickers was injured. I'm not sure about the score for last night with them, if he played or not. I should have checked that out. But anyway, it's a big week. Brendan Rodgers will get the players back. Let's get back to business. And on that note, have an absolutely fantastic day, Celtic fans, wherever you are, all around the world.